All right, what's going on, everybody? It is Monday, October 23rd, 1 week until my birthday, when I'll turn 34 years old. So everybody get excited for that. Make sure you bring your presents next week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're here to talk about Survivor for the kickoff of this mega Monwan Monday, another 3-night stream. Very excited. So let's kick this off. Let's do it. This is a great episode again. All right. I am John Dunphy. I am joined with my fellow tribe mates, Ms. Gina Morgino and Mr. Mikey Mormon. If you're watching us right now, you probably noticed that Kyle is not with us. He has some things going on. He'll be with us for the challenge later tonight and for Big Brother, but he'll have to miss the Survivor stream. So the three of us will soldier on.
Excuse me, there still are 4 of us in the room.
Oh, I'm sorry. There are 4
you.
of us. Mikey, could you please introduce your guest host?
Yeah, this is Finnick. This is my
He's a
Very
good
nice.
boy.
He's absolutely done sitting on my lap, though.
Yeah.
Very cute pup. Very cute pup. whose name I got completely wrong before.
Yeah, his
but
name
that's
is
why
not Ben.
Yeah, that's why I told you to introduce him. So. Okay. We are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. If you want to find us on the socials, you can do so at Strat Chat Pod. We are everywhere, including Blue Sky. Blue Sky. Okay. I have to make sure I say that since Kyle's not here. But all right. I mean, I guess we should get into this episode, right? This was a wild one, I thought. Honestly, nothing really happened. I mean, we had Lulu coming back from their last tribal council where Savaya was blindsided. And we had, Caleb and Emily kind of talking to Sean about what happened. And Sean was trying to do his best to be like, yeah, I'm okay, even though I'm on the bottom and nobody told me anything about this. That's really all that happened to kick off the episode. But from there, we got right into the tribe swap. What did you guys think of this tribe swap? This was wild. I felt like how the tribes turned out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, first of all, just so happy to see a tribe swap right off the bat. I've been missing that the last couple seasons. I kept bringing it up last season too, just like how much I felt it would help. Because it kept happening where the tribes there was one tribe that kept getting like whittled down way too much, and then everyone was having to like they were having to have like 3-4 sit outs for challenge, and it just like wasn't it. And so I was happy to see a tribe swap, but yeah, the way it worked out was really interesting. The fact that they split up Lulu entirely, but Reba and Bello both managed to have tribes where they had 4 of their members. I thought that was crazy. What
Really
are the odds
wild,
of that?
Yeah.
Truly, what are the odds of that?
I know that it wouldn't be at least a little more mixed up. We had, so like you said, Mikey, all 3 of the Lulu members were moved to different tribes. But we had the new Reba consists of 4 former Reba members, Sifu, D, Julie, and J Maya. And then Sean was the Lulu member that now is on Reba. The new Lulu has 4 former Bello members in Katura, Kelly, Jake, and Bruce, with Caleb staying at Lulu. And then the new Bello is the only one that really has any real tribe diversity. We have 2 former Bello members, Brando and Kendra, 2 former Reba members, Austin and Drew, which is funny to me that they stayed together.
Them and then D and Mama Julie too both stayed together.
Yeah, that's totally true.
And then of course dynamic duo Katura and Bruce stayed together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, besties.
God, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's really wild. Like, what did you think of like I like what we got. Like, are you happy with how this happened? Like, because I do think it makes it interesting, like seeing sort of like a Reba civil war, right? Like they're publicly saying Reba strong, but behind the scenes you have people like Jay working against Sifu. I don't know.
It was a really interesting the way I do wish that it had been a little bit more split up. I mean, like how much more split up could it possibly be? There's only 3 tribes, you know. But the splits that did happen, I think, were probably the most interesting options. The fact that we got Drew and Austin together that like teamed up with Emily, and then Dee and Mama Julie together, and like they're playing the Reba strong, but like we as the audience know that Jay and C4 are both on the outs of that. As much as like it seems like Jay seems to think that she is like it's like 3 strong, it feels like, whereas like we know that that's not true. So that's really interesting dynamic. And then of course we get the Bruce Katuro dynamic, which is fantastic,
Incredible.
I just couldn't ask for anything more. I
was laughing so hard because she had tweeted like, well, I guess if you talk shit about one of your castmates, they're gonna use the footage. So
I just like, what do you think about Katura's like attitude towards Bruce? Like, I get that you could be annoyed by someone and you're on this island, but like, it seems like that's the only reason that she's targeting him is that he annoys her. Like, she's ignoring every other aspect of the game that like he might be good in challenges or, you know, any benefit he might bring. It's just, no, Bruce is annoying. I want him gone.
Listen, sometimes there are just people that you can't be around. I get it. I definitely have. There are people that I have met in my lifetime where I'm like, I cannot spend another second with this person. I would pay $1 million in order to never see you again. So I get it. And especially like when you're forced to spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with that person. And like, not only that, like you're hungry as hell. You're tired. You're not getting good sleep. Like there's just no break from it. So I get it. Like if like someone is on your nerves, they are going to stay there. So I totally understand why she would want him gone so bad. Cause like, honestly, like as an audience member, I don't love, like, I feel like I would be annoyed by the things that he's doing, you know?
Right.
So like, I get it.
I hear that.
It's like I get that he's like the only person there that has quote unquote played the game before, but like you were there for a day. Like you do not know that much more than everybody else. Sit down and shut up.
Exactly. Although I will say, I remember she like mentioned very briefly that like I think he was a Marine or something like that. So I think there are survival skills that he does have that come from outside of that experience, which okay, but don't also the problem lies in he's trying to be 2 people. He's trying to do that fun uncle thing, but then also can't resist being the dad of the group when it's like, dude, just be the dad. Like what's the worst that could possibly come from that, you know? Like be the provider, like make yourself indispensable.
Right.
I don't understand so much. I'm sure like there's a reason. I'm sure he has like a solid reason in his brain, but I can't comprehend the not wanting to play up at this point in the game that provider sort of role.
Right. It's just odd to me because I feel like there are so many ways in which he already is being the dad. Like he just doesn't want to label himself as that. And it's like, just lean into it.
But also if you do, like, that's another reason of like, all right, well, we're going to keep him around. He has all these survival skills. He provides for us. He helps us around. Like it's not a liability. It's a reason why they want to keep you because you benefit them.
Right. And I do think later on in the game, sure, it could become a liability once we're post-merge. But the thing is, we're not post-merge yet. You have to get there. And I think a lot of this, like, because this new era is a lot of fans playing, a lot of people that have grown up with this game. And I think because of that, we get like this sort of idea where like, it's just like, okay, well, after the merge, this is what I'm trying to set up my game for after the merge. And it's like, dude, you have to get to the merge before you can think about after the merge, you know, like you got to get that far. And I feel like that gets lost a little bit with the last couple casts.
Yeah. Speaking of Bruce, by the way, it was interesting seeing him end up back on the Tika Beach where he was in his first season, once he was part of the Lulu tribe. So it kind of, I can imagine that being hard. I remember him saying that he looking at the spot where the medic came and saw him, in that first season and having to walk away. So I'm sure it probably
I was surprised how much like residual trauma he had from that. Like I expected him to feel like some kind of way about it, but I wouldn't expect him to get that shaken. You know,
that's true. I mean, he had a near-death experience. You know, like he was that is probably the closest he's ever been to
I think I
dying.
also forget how severe his injury was because
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
so like quick.
yeah, I do think too, like that was the most genuine he's been. I feel like a lot of what we've seen from him has been like this like put on sort of persona. And that was a moment where I was like, oh, this is the person, you know, like I liked him in that moment a lot more than I have. And like I hate to say that, like, oh, I liked this person the most when they were living through their trauma again. But what I mean to say is like
It's the
that
most
felt like
humanizing.
right. It felt like a genuine moment from him, which was cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so one of my favorite parts of this whole episode, I know we talk a lot about how, especially when one or two tribes are dominating and one is always down, it feels like we don't get to know some of these other tribe members a lot, right? So I think that what's great about this tribe swap, and especially coming as early as it has, is that this episode forced, production into having to show us all these different people that are on their new tribes and showing how they're going to try to now adjust their game because of this tribe swap. So I felt like we had a lot of really good like game conversations, and that's like kind of what like I'm the most excited to talk about. So like
Yeah.
one of the first ones that really caught my attention was Caleb and Jake. They had seen each other at the Sweat and Savvy back in the premiere, and apparently had made some kind of connection there and mentioned, maybe we should work together if we get to merge. Now they end up on the same tribe together. What do you think about this potential Caleb and Jake duo? Like, could you see them being? I feel like they're both pretty good in comps. Could you see them being a pretty powerful duo in the game moving forward?
Absolutely. I think too, like they always talk about this sort of thing in these shows where it's like, oh, we have to stick together as like athletic people. There was a big thing in one of the Australians of one of the seasons of Australian Survivor where it's like we need to stick together as these athletic people because we will soon enough become the targets. And it never seems to happen. Like it always seems to like fall through. So it would be interesting to see them stick together throughout, you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
And I like them both. I think they're both entertaining. Jake like has a vibe to him, but I dig it. Like it's not like overly so. And Caleb, nice guy. Like that their dynamic together is interesting.
yeah,
I hope
yeah.
it does pan out.
Right, right. See, I was nervous going back to the tribe swap. I was a little nervous when we initially saw four, four Sifu members, four Reba members, still sticking together in Reba, and then four Bello members going to Lulu. Like, I was a little bit nervous about that, but like, what's nice is like we kind of brought it up already is that we have some of the Reba members kind of talking about targeting Sifu. We have now, these four Bello members in Lulu. You have Jake making comments like, this new era Survivor, you got to be ready to jump ship. So it's really nice that like, even though we've kind of gotten these clumps of old tribes together, like they're already working behind the scenes, like against each other, which I think
Well,
makes
because
all of this even more exciting.
the other thing too is like, yeah, they stick together when it comes to like winning and it's taken them this far, but they've never had an opportunity to cut the people that they're maybe clashing with. And this is now the perfect moment to be like, all right, we can still like all win together, but I don't necessarily need all of these same people to keep winning out with me. So now is the chance where like I can finally get to a tribal and get rid of somebody that I don't like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
I
so
think
wild. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think too, what's interesting about the fact that Lulu did get split up 1-1-1 is that they're not. You don't. If it was two of them going, then they become a threat. Then it's like, okay, this is a duo that we need to split up. But because it is just 1-1-1, they're not a threat so much as they are a number. You know. So I
Yeah.
think that sort of worked in their favor too.
Right. What do you think? I think Emily is in like the most interesting position right now
Yeah,
of the
I
three
mean,
Lulu members. She's like the one Lulu member on this tribe with two Reba and two Bello that are going to try to like get the majority. So they both want Emily on their side. Like she's a hot commodity right now for
right.
that
There's
tribe.
no version of events where the 2 and 2 come together to make a 4 and vote her out. It just wouldn't make sense.
Oh, absolutely not.
It just absolutely doesn't make a lick of sense. So that she definitely got the best, I think, way. And because of the journey that she's had in the game so far, she came into that tribe and was really able to, I think, charm them and like play into like what she's been working on herself and all that. And like I hate to keep saying like Caleb changed her, because like that feels, I don't know. I don't know, like being like, oh, this man came in and fixed her. Like, no, he just pointed out the shit that she was doing, and she was like, oh yeah, and she then made changes to her, was able to adjust on her own account, I think, is more what's happening. And she was able to really like successfully do that within this tribe, and she charmed the hell out of Drew and Austin, and that trio makes sense to me, to be totally honest. And now I think what's interesting too is like, okay, so now Emily has this combo with Drew and Austin, who already have this combo with Mama Julie and Dee, and also Emily has Caleb. So like, if all, what is that, 5 or 6 of them make it to the merge, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out too.
Yeah.
The other thing that's going to be interesting to watch too is something that we in the last couple of seasons haven't gotten to until the merge, which is now we have these people who have been in how many tribals now, and they've navigated through the social piece of it, and they've navigated through the votes, and they know how to kind of manipulate that piece of the game with a bunch of people who have never been to tribal before. So now, like, in their own individual tribes, they are the most knowledgeable person of how to kind of like navigate through it and tweak the numbers to their favor too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So over at the Reba tribe, I noticed that Sean and Jay, right, Jay Maya, they really got a quick connection there, and it seemed like Julie was pretty like set on, let's stay Reba strong for now. Like Sifu's, he's our best competition player that we have left, and Jay though was like really starting to try to push Dee and Julie on the idea of like, let's keep Sean and get out Sifu. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think it's a choice that makes any sense from Jay's perspective, to be totally honest, because again, it's like, we're not at the merge yet, and you need to win challenges, and Sifu is the only person of any athletic ability on that tribe. So he's also like such an easy target post merge. Like, it's like, you could easily be like, yeah, Sifu's an athletic threat, we need to get him out of here. And half the people that are going to be like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. So I don't understand really like the urgency with which she wanted to get rid of Sifu, unless it really came down to sort of a Bruce Katura thing where she just doesn't like him, doesn't like being around him, which again, I have to respect that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I don't, from my perspective, it doesn't feel like the right choice. But
yeah, that's what I was feeling too. But are you saying that Jay does not enjoy doing the 4 steps down with Sifu? She doesn't like doing that.
I can't imagine that she is having a good time in those moments, especially the first one we saw where she was like just like staring at him, and he's like pointing to her to go, and then she's like, "Oh, down!" Yeah, no.
Oh my god, that like they never changed the song, I guess.
No, I was also, it was really, because I've mentioned this last time, I was really happy to hear the non-instrumental version of it. Just, I would get that acoustic version. I was very happy about that.
Oh man. All right. I guess you want to talk about this immunity challenge?
Sure.
Okay. So in this immunity
cage,
I was like, what happened? This looked brutal to me. I got to be honest. How heavy do you think those big cages were? So each tribe had to drag this huge cage out of the water up to this like checkpoint thing where they had to have it positioned just right over this piece of wood. And then one player, everyone was digging whatever to get this one player out that would be able to untie 3 balls that then people in the cage would have to shoot into these baskets, these 3 baskets. And each one got progressively taller. Lulu, they're losers no more because they won this one, and Caleb really dominated. He finished shooting all 3 of their balls before Reba and Bello even got to theirs.
It was crazy.
He was a beast, man. And basketball seems to be his like sport too. So I think just like the right combination of player and challenge really worked out. And also because, I mean, they have a pretty strong tribe now. Like they've got the strength between Caleb, Jake, and Bruce. That's probably the most like physical strength that is existing on any one of these tribes at this point. So they just got it worked out, from the bottom to the top.
It is wild because there really is a huge difference in like the strength of certain tribes. Like, I guess there's no real way if it's going to be a random swap, like there's no real way to sort of change that to like ensure that it's more evenly distributed. But like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Is that an issue for you at all? That like one tribe could just be totally stacked and then another one is just, I mean, granted that Reba is trying to take out their strongest player that they have left in Sifu. So like,
that's the game,
Yeah.
Yeah. It would bother me if it like started out with those odds, but in a random tribe swap, like whatever happens, happens. If that's the way that it shakes out, then oh well, that's how it happened,
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, Matt agrees. That's why tribe swaps are so fun when you get crap show tribes. But all right, so yeah, Lulu won, and then we had Bello take second place, so they also had immunity. So Reba, who seems like they've just been coasting this whole time, gets to see their first tribal council. But of course, Sean is on Reba. So Sean is the only player in the game that has been to every single tribal council so far this season. Poor Sean. My God, it was really wild seeing Reba walk into tribal also, and like knowing that we're 4 weeks into, like, as an audience watching this, and 9 days into it or 10 days into it, whatever that they are, and like seeing all these tribe members be like in awe at tribal council and getting their torches for the first time and getting them lit for the first time. Like,
Jeff was so shady. He was like, all right, everybody but Sean, come and get your first fire. And it's like, all right, well, great, thanks. I know, I've been here 1,000 times. Great, wonderful.
I mean, yes, but also at the same time, it's like, you've been here 1,000 times, but you're still here. It's like it's almost a compliment more than anything, because it's a testament. I mean, you've survived. Granted, like, they weren't the most questionable tribe. Like, he was never really on the chopping block at any point, but like, still, to 3 tribals for a tribe of 6, and you're still here, like 50 shot, and you made it. So like, I guess in the moment, like, who's to say, but I feel like that's something to be proud of.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, 100%. And before we actually talk about exactly what happened at tribal, because it was wild.
It sure was.
Yeah, I feel like, so obviously on Reba, the person that was pushing the hardest to go after Sifu was Jay. Jay was like totally sure of this. We have to go and take Sifu out. This is the time. Dee was on board like pretty quick. Julie was the most hesitant of anyone, but she basically knew that like, my life in the game depends on the numbers. So like, while I don't agree with this move, I'm going to go along with it. And they told Sean, don't worry, the votes are not going to be on you. Just vote for Sifu. So he was in on the plan. And then we get to tribal. And there was a lot of things that surprised me, obviously. Sean, the biggest one. Dee, also probably the second biggest thing that surprised me, how like reluctant she was to change her vote. But so like, let's get into this. Reba is doing their best to sort of, make sure Sifu is comfortable. Kind of telling him, yeah, we're staying Reba strong. Sean's got to go. Like, he's a great guy, but there's, we've been together this whole time. So Sean's got to go. And then Sean threw everybody a curveball and started basically pleading the rest of the tribe to send him home and vote him out.
But like, literally, it wasn't even like he came in being like, all right, I want to get out of here. Like, he was talking to Jeff, and it was almost as if halfway through his sentence, he decided, actually, I want to go home. And just out of nowhere started like begging to be voted out. And it's like, that is not what you were just talking about. Where did that come from?
I think what happened was that Reba did too good of a job of convincing Sifu he was safe. And Sean heard that line from Jeff that was like, if this is the end, what does it mean? And he panicked. And it came to like a point where he was like, well, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out on my own terms and not like be blindsided. And I just think that that's dumb, because like at the end of the day, like even if like say like he's completely genuine, like really does just want to get back to his husband, you're not getting back to your husband any faster if you leave the game right now. You're just getting back to your
Right.
husband poorer than you could have. Because like also you have to remember too, like they get paid on a scale, right? So like even if you don't win, the longer you're in the game, the more money you make. And there's only 26 days in the game, so we're talking 2 more weeks. Like we are talking 2 more weeks of your life. I can't get behind it. I absolutely cannot support this move in any way, shape,
It's
or
like
form.
if I'm really grasping at straws to try to grant him some grace here, I can see it as if like, all right, I am now the only person in this game. I finally got off of that tribe and I still don't have a flint and I still don't have like food sources and I'm still in the trenches digging through like the bottom of the barrel stuff because everybody else has already been like eating and now the other 2 people that are on different tribes won and now they have like more resources than I do. I can kind of see the frustration, but again, you knew exactly what you were signing up for.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you're like almost halfway there. Like, I don't know why.
It's
I
also
don't get
like
it.
it's also like there have been people on this game that have been in far worse situations that have come to, if not win, come to the final 3. I'm thinking of in I can't remember what the season was called, but the winners season, where it was like it was this, I think it was season, it was either 39 or 40. I guess it was 40, where it was the season was all winners, but they had like the redemption island. So literally this girl Natalie was the first one voted out, I believe, and was on redemption island the entire game, and then won her way back in at like the final 5. And like there was nothing on redemption island. There was nothing there. Like it was winners at war. That's what it called. Thanks, Matt. But there was nothing there. Like that girl like literally starved, like suffered for a long time. I can't, like, I would have had more respect for him if he had left on a blind side with grace like Sabaya did than the way I can't get behind it. I can't get behind it. And like, again, like guys, you got to do what you got to do, I guess. And like, I would never like send death threats to his house or anything like that. But I don't know, man, just not it.
It's just crazy that in 4 tribals, 2 of them have walked off willingly.
Mm-mm.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it's really wild. No, it's crazy because like you guys been saying, like there was no indication prior. Like at least with Hannah, we knew that she was complaining about things already. So like, while it was still a surprise when it happened, like, you know, it was like, okay, well, I can see it because she's been complaining the whole time. But this was, I mean, even in the tribal itself, there was a point where I think it was Sifu talking, saying like, yeah, Sean's a great guy. He's got a great energy, but you know, it's not really the burger I'm looking for. And Sean was like, well, what do you want? A pizza? Like pleading with him, like, well, what do I have to do?
Right.
To stay here, like to convince you. Like even in the tribal, it felt like he was trying to make an argument for himself to stay. The only thing that I'll say though on his behalf is that the things that he did say, I thought were very eloquent, very nicely said. It was very like emotional moment. I thought it was nice, like the way he spoke. But it just felt like a real bummer to see.
It was a real cop out.
Yeah, and it is crazy that in 4 tribals, 2 people have really basically been acquit, even though we've technically gotten votes. But
they quit.
Yeah.
The technicality.
And it's like, you know, I don't want to be a broken record because everybody's been saying it like 1,000 times, but it's like, I really feel for the people who like were alternates on this season that wanted more than anything to be on Survivor. And now in 4 episodes, they have seen 2 people say, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's so shitty.
Yeah, nah, it's not good. And I'll tell you what, if I was a student at his school, he's a principal. Like, I'd throw it in his face. Are you kidding?
Not Mikey trying to be a rabble rouser.
I'm just saying, like, if I was a student in his school and like this guy tried to discipline me, I'd be like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? Quit? Like, come on.
Oh man, wow! Were you a bad kid in school?
Mikey's getting expelled.
You know, listen, I was a good kid. I was a good enough kid, but I had a mouth.
A good enough kid.
I had a mouth. I think I would have said it like under my breath, and like he would have heard it and been like, repeat it. And I would have been like, what do you do? Quit. But I listen. No, like listen. No, not it. Hate it. Don't like the move. Think it's shitty.
Well, I do have to say we're 4 tribals in, and we really did a great job so far with our draft teams. The 2 tribe members that were undrafted by us are now gone. Sean quit and Brandon was voted out. So it was very nice that I have to update any of these. These are the current graphics for each of us. Gina still has Caleb, Kelly, and Julie, and they all look like they're in good shape right now.
I'm satisfied with that draft.
Mikey's got D, Bruce, Katura, and Drew. Pretty good spread there too. Actually, all your people now are on kind of spread across each tribe.
Yeah, at least one on each. This was the first episode where I had to like panic a little bit in tribal. I thought D was going home, but
I still got Austin, J Maya, Emily, and Sifu, and Kyle.
Almost lost one.
Honestly, though, this isn't the first time. I've been, and Kyle still has Jake, Kendra, and Brando. I've been dodging bullets throughout the season because
Emily...
if Hannah didn't quit week 1, Emily would have been gone, and if Sean didn't quit in this one, Sifu would have been gone. So I'm dodging bullets right now.
My, how the tables have turned from the Big Brother draft.
Oh man. Okay, so obviously Sean was pleading with everyone to vote him out. We still had to have a vote. Jeff still made us go into the booth and vote. So what was interesting to me, the second most surprising thing to me here was after Sean makes this plea to everybody, we know Sifu is already voting out Sean, set in stone. J Maya was indicating to D, I thought it looked pretty obvious to me that she was indicating like, all right, we got to vote Sean. And we knew Julie was never really on board with the plan to get Sifu out anyway. So she was happy to switch her vote to Sean. But D, and it wasn't even her plan, was like dead set on still voting for Sean. And now still voting for Sifu. I'm sorry. And now, so because the votes were still there for Sean, he goes home. Now Sifu is freaking out, wondering who voted for him.
Right, you have now tipped him off that it was going to be a blindside on him. Like
right, and Sean whispered to Sifu because Sifu asked him, "Did you vote for me?" And Sean said no. So like, I don't understand honestly why D didn't change her vote.
I've been really supportive of her this whole time. She's my number 1 draft pick. I don't get it. I imagine she was just like, I don't know, whatever Jay said to her in her convincing really must have like taken hold. And she was just like, nah, we got to stand strong. Maybe she thought that Sean was sticking with his, like was putting on a show for Sifu. Possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't, it was a weird move.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see how this plays out in the next episode, though, when they get back to camp, because that Sifu is not going to let this go.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it only really matters if they go back to tribal. And also, I can't imagine if they do go back to tribal that Sifu is going to be able to convince Julie and Jay to vote D rather. Like, I think it puts more pressure on him to win rather than the idea that he's somehow gonna vote her out with this configuration in this tribe.
Yeah. Wow. But yeah, we have Sean going home. So we have 4 members still on Reba, and they are all original Reba members. Just very funny to me.
So we just still have Reba. Really,
the fact that someone from Lulu still went home this episode is freaking insane.
That really is fantastic.
He was literally not going home. Like he was safe. He was totally fine. He panicked for no reason.
I would love to see. I haven't seen anything, but I'd love to see some interviews of him talking about, why he actually made that decision. What was going through his mind at that time. But
I imagine he's going to stick to his guns and be like, "This is what I said is what I meant," and that kind of thing. Like you can't fall back on this now. You gotta just. Right. I don't know if he's done interviews. I haven't seen anything from him, but I also haven't.
He's definitely at least He's for sure at least done the Mike Bloom interview because I saw like him posting about it, but I don't know if there have been more than that.
Yeah,
I haven't been following the post game stuff. I've just been getting stuff on TikTok.
yeah. Okay. This episode, I don't really have anything else, I think, from this episode specifically, but I feel like there was a lot of game talk because of the tribe swap. So is there anything that I forgot about? I know we kind of like jumped around a little bit. Is there anything that stuck out to you guys that maybe didn't talk about really?
I mean, we talked about it, but like I feel like it's fair to emphasize the Drew, Austin, Emily team up. I think that is something that's probably going to come into play moving forward and make things interesting, create an interesting dynamic.
I think that's a really interesting group to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. No,
I was just going to say, especially because in the next on that we got, it looks like Brando and Kendra, the two Bello members that are now part of, still Bello, because we have two Bello and two Reba on that, but we have the Bello side of the original Bello. It looks like they're going to be jockeying to try to get Emily on their side. So it's going to be very interesting to me in this next episode to see who maybe wins Emily over. And I wonder if Austin and Drew will share any of their advantages with her, that, the fact that they have them and stuff, because that would automatically bring me to their side if I know they have that kind of power.
It's possible. I mean, I think just for who Emily is and for like what we saw in this episode, I think it would be a hell of a challenge for Brando and Kendra to get her over. I think she's probably going to be pretty dead set on staying with Drew and Austin. That team up makes sense, but it'll be interesting to see the back and forth for sure. And it'll be interesting to see what goes on Bello too, because there's a lot of ways that vote could go.
Yeah.
Because it could go towards Caleb. It could go towards Katura. It could go towards Bruce. Like, it could be any one of those three, really. I don't really see. We also had in the next on, there is another, Jake had another little.
Yes, that was another note that I had. I'm very nervous about that. About
Jake, that could be bad
episode. Which would change everything, because
absolutely
all the stuff we've talked about Jake and Caleb possibly working together, that could go out the window. So I hope he's okay, but it was scary to see him fall on the beach again, like that, kind of having like that same sort of seizure episode,
right? Because I know we were saying like it looked like it might have been just like smoke inhalation and like he wasn't getting enough oxygen or whatever, but to see it happen again, like it does kind of lean towards being a seizure.
Yeah, and it didn't look like he was near the fire this time, right?
No.
Like, it looked like
he was just on the beach.
Yeah. And I know, we did mention the smoke inhalation, but obviously it could be dehydration or just the heat affecting him. It could be other factors, but like
at the end of the day, I've never claimed to be a doctor, so
yeah. But it's definitely scary to see it happen for a second time now. And if we didn't see medical the first time it happened, I feel like we're definitely going to be seeing it this time. So I hope he's okay though, because I like Jake.
That Boston accent. It's crazy thick. I forget that there are people that actually talk like that, man.
I love every time he's like, I'm a great swimmer, like
I got to get in the water.
But do we have anything else for this episode? There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys, because we had an exciting announcement come out on social media today. But any other thoughts on this episode of Survivor 45?
It was nice to hear a lot from Jay this time around. I don't know if she's going to be like a major fixture moving forward, but we like really got to like get some insight from her this time around, which was cool. Really, I feel like the only ones we haven't seen from now are Brando, Kendra, Kelly are who we've seen the least from, I'd say. Yeah. But again, we've mentioned this before, but like really nice to like have a much better image of the full cast this time around. Even before the swap, like it's been good. Like I feel like I have a solid image of each of these players.
The 90-minute episodes have been really, really helpful, and just like building, not even like showing us them building relationships with each other, but giving us a relationship with each of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope. Yeah. I mean, fingers crossed they're able to keep this a thing, but who knows? Probably. Right. I mean, I would imagine at least with the next season, because of the way things work out with it, because I'm pretty sure this happened because of the strike.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think
yeah.
still there'll be a bit of like a media drought.
Yeah.
At least for the next 2 seasons because of the way things work. So maybe hopefully it sticks around. We'll see.
I agree. It's been great because none of these 90-minute episodes has really felt like filler at any point to me. And we complain all the time about Big Brother having 60-minute episodes, and like it feels like 25 minutes of those 60 minutes are filler sometimes, and it's like it's been all action packed in these episodes so far.
Yeah.
It's been great. So
yeah, absolutely. Like, because I'd say even with like some of the Australian Survivor episodes, like I do feel like some of that becomes filler because their episodes are so long that it's like I don't need to hear the strategy behind who's sitting out in every challenge. That's too much. But no, it's a good amount of time. I feel like any longer would be too much. Any shorter is not enough. Like this is like the perfect sweet spot, I think.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Australian Survivor, we had a post that I was scrolling through Instagram and stumbled on and saw the beautiful face of Mr. Jonathan LaPaglia.
There it is.
Because in 2024, Australian Survivor will be returning with the theme Titans versus Rebels. Other than this graphic, I honestly don't know anything else about what this show or the season is going to be like. It didn't have a date that I saw. It didn't really explain what Titans and Rebels is going to be. Any thoughts about what this season might include?
Feels like they're gonna get all the voice actors from Attack on Titan to
play
against all of the actors from Star Wars. Is what I'm picturing in my head. That feels what we're going for.
Yeah.
Right,
so I'm excited. I'm really excited to see Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac on Australian Survivor.
Shut up.
Give me Mark Hamill. Come on.
Yeah. Liz tweeted
because
that,
it wouldn't be like a. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Liz said that King George tweeted Team Rebels. So
I was gonna say it's clearly not like a heroes versus villains type situation. Oh, okay.
All new. That's what I was wondering. Like, is it Titans of the game that they're gonna be bringing back? Like, I didn't know. Like,
yeah, it's what it. But I feel like it's because they do kind of like they're like based off like career. I think a lot. Like they've done like the. God, I can't even remember what it's called, but like it's like all like the athletes and like the big people versus like kind of like the regular people, that kind of David versus Goliath kind of deal.
That's exactly what I read. Is that it's kind of the Titans versus Rebels theme is based off of like the David versus Goliath thing. Yeah, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, so very exciting.
Season. Yeah,
very exciting.
Love a theme.
Love a theme.
Love.
I got to do this. I got to do this real quick.
Yeah, throw it in there.
Manwan Monday.
And just for good measure, let's do one of these two, you know? Just really wanted to, grind Gina's gears there a little bit.
Mikey, don't ask questions.
This was the first time I just realized that it's not like a big hat that she's wearing. It's a bag that's on her head. So that's
it's a bag.
Have we not explained this?
No, I have no
yet?
idea. It's better off that I don't know. I don't know who Manwan is. I don't know why she has a bag.
Very
on
famous
her head.
designer. Manwan is a famous designer. Yeah,
and she has a bag on her head.
She sure
and I
does.
don't know why, but it makes Gina upset. So that's fine.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh man. Wow. I guess that's it. We got anything else? Anybody have any other thoughts for the the benefit of the community?
I don't have a lot of thoughts usually in general, just in my head. So no, I mean I feel like we touched on everything. There's not. I mean, I complained about Sean, which is really all I came here to do today. I was gonna say, I mentioned in an earlier episode, I was like, "Ooh, it might have been a missed opportunity that no one drafted Sean because it seemed like he was doing well."
Yeah,
and I bite my tongue on that because good thing none of us drafted.
I agreed though. I agreed with you at the time.
No, it felt,
time. I never saw this coming. So
no.
Again, I feel like he didn't see it coming. It literally looked like halfway through his sentence, he was like, "You know what? I'm out."
In their like official podcast, Jeff was like, Yeah, there's no indication in the episode because there's no footage of any indication before Tribal that he was going to quit. Like, it just, the footage doesn't exist. Like, there was no way they could tell that story because they didn't have anything, which is crazy. I don't know.
All right. Well,
listen,
what do
we're talking
about
him, so I guess he got what he wanted.
Exactly. But all right, what do we got coming up tonight? In about 10 minutes, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be talking about our the season finale of the Challenge USA Season 2. Yeah, we had our final. It was very exciting. So we'll be talking about that, and we'll be doing our draft for the Challenge Season 39 that's coming up. So that is very exciting. Always love doing a draft. And at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be talking about Big Brother 25. What's happened so far this week. We'll be getting into some spoilers. So come hang out with us. That'll be a lot of fun. And then Thursday night, of course, as always, we'll be wrapping up the week of Big Brother 25. And that's what we got going on the rest of this week. Find us on the socials, at Strat Chat Pod. Everywhere. We're all over the place, including Blue Sky. So like us, throw us a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We're out there. Listen to us later on Spotify or, Apple Podcasts, anything like that. If, wherever you want to hear us or see us, we're there. Okay. And I think that's it. So we're out of here. We'll see you in like 10 minutes. Woo! Yeah, Survivor.